man, I just moved into a new place. I was going for a month to visit family in Venezuela. I was doing all this stuff, and then it's like, there goes my paycheck. That's me being stubborn, or the fact is like, this is what I'm aiming. And I eat ramen noodles for a lot of years because we didn't have money to pay ourselves. We didn't have money to pay rent and stuff like that, because that's the problem. Like, how to build that part to become that professional that I always dreamed to. So yes, we are working with national level and global level with different brands to be able to represent them in different aspects.
Why Chamoy?
Everything is better with Chamoy.
If people don't know what Chamoy is, I don't even know what Chamoy is. How to explain it? I know it's good.
It complements on what you place it.
Or, is Chamoy the enemy of Tajín? Hey, welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast podcast. In this episode, we're here in Chamoy Creative headquarters. I am actually joined by one of the co-founders of Chamoy. I feel like I'm shorter, like the chair's shorter.
Oh, you can push it up. Like on this side. No, I think. Oh, yeah.
This is staying in, by the way. No, maybe I'm just me. Maybe I'm just short.
No, like you should be able to push it up. No? Maybe I should go down there. I can go lower. Well, I can go lower.
Anyways, sorry. I mean, you're a tall person already, but I just felt even more shorter than normal.
No, I just make it. Okay.
All right. We're here at Creative Headquarters, Chamoy Creative Headquarters. I'm joined by Alejandro Perez. Don't. I got it. I need help.
Signini.
I was practicing it off camera in my head.
We were.
But you are one of the co-founders here. Thank you for opening up the space for us. Back there, if you can see, it's all where all the magic happens, as people say. We're going to talk about how you got started with your career, and we're going to talk exactly what your title is. I don't want to give it away yet, but also how Chamoy got started here in San Antonio, Texas, but is reaching not even just across the country, reaching across the world. And I find it very, very interesting, especially because I've always thought about places in San Antonio where it's very local, a lot of things we do. So, but I'm always surprised that I'm pretty wrong on that a lot of times, that there's a lot of companies here that are local companies, but are bringing a lot of attention to the world. So we'll get to that. We're going to ask you some advice for people that are trying to get into the creative business, maybe do what you're doing right now here with Chamoy, and then we'll see where it goes. So let's sit back, buckle up, let's go too hard, too fast, baby.
My name is Alejandro Perez-Signini with Chamoy Creative, and we're going too hard, too fast.
We're going. Chamoy goes very well with everything.
Chamoy goes better.
With everything. Oh, I said it. Oh, let's do it again.
Okay.
All right. Is it okay if I call you Ale? Is that because I know they called you that, but I feel like it'd be proper for me to just make you my friend already.
I mean, we're friends already, so yes.
Perfect.
And yes, it's super good. Usually, the fun part how I introduce myself is, my full name is Alejandro Ignacio Perez-Signini Seguías Rodríguez Angarita.
Oh, wow.
But I go by Ale.
Why all the names? How do all the names come about?
Those are all my names. The last names comes from all, like, my family. Basically, two of my dad's side, two of my mom's side, on each part. So that's my full legal name. And then on a check it's just Alejandro Perez-Signini.
But is that the case? You're from Venezuela, correct?
Yes, I grew up in Caracas, Venezuela.
Is that tradition to have the longer name? I know it's a bit of a joke sometimes with a Latino or Hispanic culture to have the long names, but I could be wrong, but I don't know personally. Don't know a lot of Mexicans that have the longer names. Maybe like the 3 name plus the middle name.
No.
You know, the 2 last names and plus a middle name. That's as long as I would say.
Okay.
But is it tradition for Venezuelan?
So in Venezuela, it depends. Like some people like will do it or will not. My family, like I mention all of them because that's the part of like my roots. I mean, that's the part how I continue representing all the connections that I have. But it will depend because again, I cannot write a check with all those names.
No, that's too long. You'll cause a line at the bank for sure.
And then my first name is hyphenated. So Perez-Signini, it's 2 last names that my grandfather merged on respect of a family that helped him a lot. So that's a way that he merged those 2 last names.
What do you mean help? Like
meaning like that he was raised by a different family, or they were giving support, and that way he was able to, by respect, merge them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that where the Italian part of it comes from? Okay. This was an Italian family in Venezuela.
I believe so. I need to double check my ancestry, and I can confirm all this part.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, here's the beauty thing. This is too hard, too fast, and we don't check facts.
Exactly.
So yes, no, maybe so. It works.
Yeah.
No, it's just interesting because it is cool to me to figure out like how names and traditions come about, because everybody is, even though as a whole, as a Venezuelan man, person, as a Mexican person, we have our traditions, but even within that, there's family traditions for numerous reasons, and it's always interesting to me to figure out like, or to listen to other people's stories in that sense. Mm-hmm. But let's get to like your career, your job title here at Chamoy is exactly what? Because it's not what I thought it was.
My job title here at Chamoy Creative is I am one of the co-founders, but also I serve as the art and motion director. I work very closely with the creative team to lead them and find different solutions for any strategy that we're working on behalf of the brands.
And motion, you said still and motion would still be like the photography or
still would be photography or graphics. It would be like anything doesn't have any movement or any motion. And then motion is the part where we add the movement, where we are able to make something that's an non-animated object into animation. And that's where, depending on the type of style that we're looking, that's where we can apply different styles of animation. We from here in Chamoy, we do from 2D to 3D. We done stop motion. We done traditional animation. So we work a little bit of everything on those styles, and then we also collaborate with different partners to be able to elevate any messaging.
And we're gonna get a little more into Chamoy a little bit later, but Chamoy, like I said, it's a creative agency, but is it ads or beyond that?
So Chamoy Creative, we are a independent, multicultural, full-service advertising agency. So we are able to strategize, do the creative, or like make the creative ideas, execute them, and deploy them. So we can also keep tracking of them, meaning like what's the results it's creating. It's creating the drive that we want. So we are able to do all that in both languages, English and Spanish. So that's something that we are able to work with a lot of our brands to, depending on the demographic or the people that we're talking to, create those communications on either or language.
So like I said, we are going to get more into Chamoy because I want to get into like how it was created, and then obviously the cool stuff that you guys are doing, which sick website. I'd spend I don't know how much time playing with the little fruits and things, so just dabbing it into the Chamoy. Awesome website. But when you're growing up, is this what you thought you were going to be doing? Working with design or creative in this creative aspect, or did you have like a different idea of what you were gonna do with your life?
I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a lawyer. I always foresee myself in the courtroom talking to the judge, saying like, he is guilty, all that stuff. Until then, I realized in Venezuela, law is not like that.
No.
It's kind of like, no, it's more like you write stuff, you fight against corrupt people, and it's like, yeah, that's not the type of things. And then when they told me all the reading that you have to do, it's kind of like, oh, no, okay, bye.
Yeah.
But I got into this industry because back in Venezuela, I wanted to study film. I wanted to actually get into the film industry and everything. And there was one school in Venezuela that taught film. Sadly, they chapter bankruptcy when I was about to roll in and everything and stuff. So they closed down. There was a new school. It was more focused on graphic design, but they had a program which was the multimedia program, where they will taught animation and film and different stuff. And I was always like, that's what I want. I want stuff. So I go over there being like, I want to do this. And they're like, well, to do that, you need to first do this. Meaning you need to become a graphic designer, and then you can do this specialization. So I'm like, huh. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what's the worst can happen? When they were like, no, you need to do this and then to get to there, because graphic designs will teach you a lot about the theory about the balance, color, typography, like a lot of the rules that you implement in graphic design or any communication. And then after learning all the rules, this is what it becomes fun, how you break them or how you mold them to do something different. Okay. And then the specialization, learning how to make all these cool graphics into motion, and to move them, like how you create a story, how you go to one place to another one and build that storytelling. So that was the part I feel that animation helped me a lot in the storytelling part, and be able to say, okay, how you start this and then go to this point B, A, B, and C.
Okay, that makes sense. Was this what type of school was this? Like, was this university, or was this just a specific school for graphic designing?
This was a specific school for graphic design and animation, and they also taught web design and stuff. But I focused more on the multimedia. Actually, for that specific program, the multimedia, we were the guinea pig. We were the first generation and stuff like that. So it was one that they were like, we will try this. And I mean, we learn a lot. And that's why then after that, it's like, let's go and make mistakes and learn from them.
Let's go learn and make mistakes, like once you're already out in the real world?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was in Venezuela.
Yes.
What brought you in to San Antonio, Texas, the U.S.?
So I was born here in the U.S. I was born in the U.S., raised in Venezuela, and then I've been all around. What brought me here, it was the part that I wanted something better for me. And in Venezuela, I was working as an art director. I was working really good, working a lot with everything, and working as also doing animations on the side. But the economy was not allowing me to be independent. I mean, I was trying to see and how to get an apartment for myself or with a roommate and stuff, and numbers would not add on, or they will not match the part. It's like I will be basically putting all my salary into a rental, and that didn't make sense for me. Also, the situation in Venezuela. I mean, when I left Venezuela, it was when Chavez was live, and Chavez at the point, he was a dictator. And that's when I was like, I don't see myself be able to grow the way I want to grow here. Yeah. And that's when I start looking around, and I got a job offer in McAllen, Texas, and I said, let's Google where's McAllen, Texas. Oh, it's next to Mexico. Okay, let's do this. And took the job and got in a plane.
You got the job offer before even knowing where McAllen was?
Yes.
That's awesome. How long did you stay in McAllen?
I was in McAllen for 2 years and a half, something like that. McAllen, Texas, that's where I got the chance to start my first company with my best friend and my brother. Rodrigo and Ricardo. We got to work a lot and say let's do it our own way, and we got to do a lot. We got to work with amazing brands. We were working with the museum and everything until 2009-10, where the recession actually affected us, and that's when we decided, well, let's go to a bigger city. My brother and I, we decided to move to San Antonio, and that's a place where we fall in love because the diverse, like the multicultural or bicultural aspect that this city has, compared with other ones. And professionally be able to grow, because then here I got to work with different productions companies doing animation, and then we worked with a production company that got absorbed by an ad agency. And then working there, I used to do a lot of stuff for that ad agency, and then one day they're like, wait, you also do design and all this stuff, you're an art director. I'm like, sure. They're like, you're coming to this side now, and they basically absorbed me, took me to a different area in the agency, and that's when I started getting more in the advertisements part. So working there with that agency, I was there for a year. Market Vision, got to work with amazing brands like Kraft Foods, Coors Light. We got to work with also Hershey's. It was really fun.
In McAllen, was it more local brands, and then so in San Antonio you finally got into more of the national type brands?
Yes, in McAllen, because we were starting and we were like young agency. We were working with a lot of local brands, restaurants. Actually, we got to work with the museum, the IMAS Museum, which is part of the Smithsonian. That was a really great brand to work with. But mostly it was local brands. Here in San Antonio, that's when I got exposed more to the national and global level brands. And Market Vision was a great experience working with a lot of national brands. Then after Market Vision, I went to work with Bromley Communications, which is it was a national agency here in town, working with Coors, General Mills, Western Union, a lot of big brands, and we were there working a lot. I mean, I was there for 3 years and 3 years and a half, something like that, until they let us go because they were shutting down.
Yeah. Before Chamoy, as you're working in McAllen, working here in San Antonio, was there ever a thought process or a thought that you were gonna try to make a change, or is this set? Like, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life.
I'm stubborn. So when I moved here, I was very stubborn. The fact that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus and I'm going to do, and I have only applied for jobs that was what I do. I got opportunities to go and work in the bar industry or different area stuff, but I was like, no, that's not where I want to be. And that's me being stubborn, or the fact that it's like, this is what I'm aiming. And I eat ramen noodles for a lot of years because we didn't have money to pay ourselves. We didn't have money to pay rent and stuff like that, because that's the problem. Like, how to build that part to become that professional that I always dreamed to. Like, kind of saying, like, I want to be able to guide a team and say, this is why we believe this is a good idea, or stuff like that. I mean, learn a lot throughout the process with working with amazing people, but then at one point it's like, well, I want to try it too.
Yeah, that's funny. The description of stubbornness, it's definitely a good thing if it's focused in that way. I can be very stubborn in a lot of things, and it's not always a good thing because it's leading me down the wrong path. It's just I'm stubborn to quit it, even though I know it's not the right thing or the right choice. But in your sense, it's definitely guiding your career. What else do you think it could be besides the stubbornness? Like, obviously it could be passion. You have the passion for it. Obviously, talking to you this whole time before, setting up the equipment, the passion is, I can feel it coming from you. Like, you're enjoying it. But I'm always thinking of that struggle before a person makes it. what actually drives them. And I guess I don't want to circle back to stubborn, but is there something else that you would attribute to the fact that your unwillingness to quit, or that you knew that this is where you were gonna, maybe not Chamoy, like this is probably not a thought process yet in your mind, but like you said, leading a team in the right direction. What else do you think that kind of just brought you there?
I mean, like you said, first passion of like I want to do stuff, I want to continue, but I think that's something that we can just like say, like passion is one of those first ones that keep going. I was thinking another word right now, but
and it's not insanity, because or what is it? Because I was thinking as I was talking, I was thinking, you know how like some people say like if you're doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different outcome, then that's the definition of insanity. But when we're talking about your passion, our passions, regardless of what it is, or you know, someone out there trying for their passion, but they're struggling, they're eating their ramen noodles, failing, which obviously we've come to know through a whole bunch of either your life experiences or seeing it on the internet now, that failure is not really the bad thing. Correct. You know, it's the quitting. And so for so many people that start something, there's those and end up being successful, there's those stories of the ones that had to quit or ended up quitting. And sometimes it's not the wrong choice to quit something. It probably just wasn't your moment. It wasn't for you.
Correct.
But it's going to eventually lead you to something else.
Going to your point, I think those are the elements that teach us a lot. And that's why I'm like you're saying, we have to make mistakes. And then like if mistakes happen, what we learn from them. Because if we're doing mistakes and not learning, doing mistakes and we're not learning from them, then we're not doing it right. Like that's the part. It's like not learning from history. These are some experiences that we go through, and they should make us stronger as professionals and personal to be better, or to say that's not the right route to take for the next time. Next time I know that don't take the left, take the right, knowing that this is going to be a better path to go. On my part of the career, I know it could be simple to derail of something, especially because we get comfortable, or you know, this is stable or whatever. And that's the part I was like, I think part of that, it was like, I don't want to derail for something I've been aiming so much, and then that I put time into it, and my family put resources, that, you know, like how I did all this, and now I did a big move from Venezuela to be here, to just give it up.
Yeah.
So that's the part I was like, I need to push it. And I'm grateful for everybody's been there for me. I mean, my brother, my mom, my dad, my friends. We have to be grateful, because they were like, well, just keep pushing, and then know when before you hit bottom or something like that.
Yeah.
But then things start happening.
Was there ever a plan B?
Yeah. There's always a plan B. I mean, in my head, I'm always thinking plan A, B, C, and D, and F. Like I'm always thinking like different, like okay, if this doesn't happen, what's the occasion? If this could happen, or this could happen, or this could happen, and always looking different paths. But before Chamoy, when Bromley was closing down and everything, I got let go. I mean, that was a scary moment in my life, because I mean, it's a life change. It's kind of like, and I was like, oh man, I just moved into a new place. I was going for a month to visit family in Venezuela. I was doing all this stuff, and then it's like, there goes my paycheck. But my plan B or plan A at the time was considering moving to Chicago. Then my business partners and I, we start working and doing little projects here and there, like on the side and stuff like that, until one day we decided to, let's put it under one name. I mean, what's the worst can happen?
Right.
So let's put it under one name and let's give it a run and see how this happens. And basically that's how Chamoy started.
Nice. So Chamoy started with you and 3 friends, Correct. You guys decided to bring it together after doing some projects and put it under one name, as you said.
Yes.
Why Chamoy?
Everything is better with chamoy.
As I was saying, I was like, I hope he says it. It does. It's funny, and it really does. Like, and if people don't know what chamoy is, I don't even know what chamoy is. How to explain it? I know it's good. It's tangy.
Yep.
It's like oozy most of the time, right?
Yep. So it's like this oozy ingredient, like it's this red color oozy ingredient that it complements on what you place it. So chamoy, you can place it in either sweet or salty, and it will complement that flavor. That's what we do for our clients and their marketing departments. We complement them with the flavor. We complement them with seeing a different perspective and be able to give them support in areas where they need help or where they need a stronger expertise. And that's what we feel that the name goes really well with the way how we do business and the way how we collaborate with all our brands and partners, because we'd like to do that cool interaction where it's a team element. It's not like we're not walking in the room saying we're the rock stars here, it's our way in the highway. No, it's a team effort. Yeah. We need to collaborate, and because they have insights that maybe we don't have. We have ideas that they might not think about, and that's why we collaborate and make an idea stronger. So we have something that we say here at Chamoy a lot, where ideas come from everybody. And when we do the brainstorms, we basically invite everybody into the brainstorms, and we just start talking, like throwing ideas or just listening to everybody, because then you have leadership on the creative team where they're able to funnel those ideas. They're able to, let's capture everything and say, you know what, this is a really strong idea. There's something here, but we need to create more legs. We need to kind of like give it more life and grow it. So that's the part that we are able to say, let's grow this idea. I mean, everybody has ideas, but how you curate them, how you polish them in a way to present to a client, that's when the creative team comes to life and say, like, they do their magic.
Yeah. When you're bringing in everybody for an idea, for brainstorming, how do you choose the right idea? Because I'm sure there's a lot of good ideas in the room, unless you're Jorge and you're just like, you know. No, but I'm sure there's like a lot of great ideas. What, without giving too much away of your secret chamoy-ness, how do you choose the right idea?
I think it's like the stronger idea is the one that actually brings the answer of the brief. The brief, the client will have a brief, or we have a situation that we need to fix or something to say. So we look into them like, what is this idea solving that problem? In what way? And then what is the ways how we can communicate this idea? Meaning, like, is this something that can become a photo or a video or stuff? And that way curated in a way that if it's answering those questions for the brief, then that's when we can say this is one of the candidates. This is one of the selected ones to go into that round of like, let's go and present 3 ideas to a client and say this is why we're bringing these ideas. And then hopefully we'll high five and go to happy hour.
Nice. Nice. Is there a delicate question, but is there an ever, or how do you avoid like hurt feelings when a certain idea is not being chosen? Or maybe, again, I'm throwing myself in the ring, Jorge's ideas for the past 3 weeks haven't been chosen. Like, how do you kind of make sure Jorge doesn't feel left out or unvalid? Because I don't know, maybe that's a weird question to ask, but you know, kind of just validating the fact that like, hey, you do have great ideas eventually, Jorge.
So, and I think that's as a role for a creative director is also like to be able to support and give support on that part. If you see that you have a team member that's either not having the not bringing the ideas or having struggles with throughout and stuff like that, be able to give him support or give a hand, being like, hey, what's up? Let's have a conversation, or let's have a one-on-one, and let's throw some ideas or what you're thinking, and help them kind of like develop it more, or like see like the different point of views, being like, oh, look at it from this perspective, because you only see it up, but what about if you see it from the side? And that's when they're like, oh wait, I didn't say. So that's a part of, I would say, it's how we are able to give support on like, hey, maybe this and stuff, because I mean, sadly, it's not all ideas are always going to be selected, but that's a part, is kind of like, what is the rationale of why these ones were not selected, and hopefully, and like explain that to the team members, so that way they can enhance that, or say like, oh wait, now I know this is not working, let me try something different. But I think also like be able to, from as a creative director, to be able to bring support on that part. So I'm saying like, hey, let's go and have some quick talk and throw some ideas here, and just try to help them see different perspectives.
That makes sense. And earlier you kind of gave me a tour of the area you brought me into, and I think you can kind of see it through the windows, the open concept room. Everybody's working here together. And the way I took it, the way you explained it, it kind of just gives it the flow where people can, continue throwing out ideas, or, maybe see what one is working with and throw something in there, throw a little bit of input. So when they're all working as a team, I'm assuming also that they may also have that block as a team. When the team comes together and they're kind of stalled. How do you at Chamoy bring everybody back together, kind of get that creative juices flowing again?
So usually in moments like that, and my personal experience, because that happens to me a lot.
Yeah, and that's why I bring it up, because it happens to everybody, whether you're working as a team or solo. Like, we all kind of get that blocked moment where you're just stalled.
Mm-hmm. The best solution that I've found that works for me a lot is walk away from it for a second. Meaning, like, you're stuck, give 4 steps back, take a walk. I mean, I love going for a walk, and that's one day I always tell the team, like, go for a walk, we're in a good neighborhood, or go have a juice, or just get away from a second, start working on other stuff, maybe that you need something that's a easier deadline, or something that's just more more technical, whatever. But again, walk away from it, breathe, and then be able to just say, okay, let's go back to it and think about it. The other one is, like I always tell people, is like, bring it to another team member, somebody who's not as involved as you, because some teams, we have it that they're working with a brand and they're going through so many ideas that then at one point they're like, we don't know what else to present. It's like, well, bring it to another member that's not involved into it, and then they can say like, oh man, what you're missing is this and this, and then it's like, there it is, or something like that. So it's always like seeing that moment, but stepping back, just avoiding it for a second, that's good for the mind, because then you just start seeing different solutions.
Yeah. Ru, I want to ask this question, and it might be too much into what's the term? Into the weeds, like too much into, but I guess without being too boring, I don't know if it will be boring or not, this question, but I as I was looking at your website, one thing that the concept that kept coming up was the 360 approach, and I think this would be more for like the nerds that would be watching, which is, but I might have to take that back, saying nerds. Whatever, you're a nerd.
I'm a nerd.
I'm a nerd. That's why I said it. No, but like that's why, I guess that's why I got interested. Can you kind of like give a little brief talk on that, just maybe just for my own curiosity?
Yeah, the 360 approach, it's when you grab a message, how you make that message into all areas. Meaning that, how is this going to work on billboard? How is this going to work on radio? How is this going to work on TV? And how cohesive is going to be the message all around. That is when we apply a lot of the 360 approach, where it's like, this message has to work in all these environments, because that way we can ensure, one, the success of a campaign, consistency of a campaign, and ensuring that voice, that tone of voice that we created for the brand or the campaign, it's equal in all these platforms. So that way it's kind of like a big umbrella that oversees these elements. So that way when we work in TV, print, for print ad or a billboard, to a Pandora radio and stuff like that, that they all feel part of the same campaign. That's our 360 approach. That's the way how we always envision that communication should be, where for you are a big brand, a small brand, anything, this is how you should portray the brand to keep that brand recognition.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, that did satisfy my own curiosity. Whatever, nerds. Going back to Chamoy, I knew you guys. I've been following Chamoy for a long time. The Instagram page.
Thank you.
And so I really thought, I really thought of the stuff that you guys were doing is cool, and I really thought it was very localized. But after talking to you before, the cameras were on, got to meet a couple of the employees here working, and you kind of mentioned that you're working global, and I kind of said it earlier at the beginning of the intro. I didn't know that. I knew you guys were big local, and I was thinking nation, but to reach different countries, how are you guys doing that? Without giving too much secret, because I'm supporting Chamoy and nobody else, because nobody else is on this podcast.
No, and I appreciate that. But so yes, we are working with national level and global level with different brands to be able to represent them in different aspects. There's a brand that we work in the tourism part that we work to promote them in the United States, but also around the world. And we collaborate with 5 different countries to be able to to create communication, be able to have them around, create communication and understanding the insights. Because every community has different insights. I mean, and here in the United States, we absorb information in a very different way than Germany does or the UK does. So it's understanding those elements, that how we able to create communication to this community without disrespecting or not be able to create a proper connection. Always looking to those insights to make sure that specific one is going to be successful to that specific community. Okay.
Now, do you ever? I'm assuming you would have to explain what Chamoy is, not the creative aspects of it or what you guys do as a agency. You have to ask. How many times you get asked what Chamoy?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. But then it's a fun part that we've been to meetings where we just bring Chamoy to it. Or, I mean, we work on a campaign where we went to LA, and a lot of the people in LA, some people knew what Chamoy was. We were working with some people also from out of New York, and they were like, we don't know what Chamoy is. And it's like, oh, here, Chamoy. And they were like, this is amazing.
Oh, yeah?
It's like, yeah. So it's, some people know about it. Some people have heard about it, but that's a part that, yeah, we get to explain it a lot.
Since we're a little bit on, let me ask you a little bit of silly questions. What is your favorite thing to put Chamoy on?
Una margarita.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm not a big fan. Not on like drinks. I don't. Oh wow, that was balancing by itself. Oh crap, and I've ruined it. Anyways, I'm not a big fan on drinks, but I love it on fruit, no doubt. And obviously pepinos. What is it? Cucumbers. I love it on jicama. That's my favorite to put it on. It's like this, for people that don't know, it's like, I don't even know what it's called in English, to tell you the truth. Probably the same thing.
Oh man, I'm blank on that. I don't remember right now.
Dang, you knew?
Jicama, it's I'm blanking.
This is where we throw the slogan in. Too hard, too fast.
Yeah,
we don't check facts. Well, but what it is, it's like a white. Well, it's got a brown skin, like a thin brown skin, and then inside of it, it's a white fruit. And it can be juicy, but when you bite into it, it feels sandy or rough. Like it's not. It feels dry.
Is that melon, right? No, melon is
No.
the other one.
I wouldn't think so. It's gonna bother you.
I know. I'm just thinking about it, but okay.
No, that's hilarious. We'll figure it out. Somebody in the comments can maybe figure it out, or somebody, whoever.
Talking about chamoy and fruit. So years ago, the previous building where we used to be in South Flores, we did a big party where we had a chamoy fountain. So have you seen those chocolate fountains?
I've seen that, but I can't even imagine as chamoy because chamoy is kind of sticky and like a thick ooze.
I mean, we got creative. We had to put a little bit of water to have to make it sure they run perfect. But then we had like a beautiful tray of fruit. Man, it was people were loving it. It was just like cleaning that thing. It was a pain.
Oh man, I would have just thrown it away.
I mean, that's what I said. But we were like, no, we're saying the second time. I was like, no, I'm not cleaning the thing.
It's a 2-party thing, and that's it. It seems like it will look really cool, especially with some light on it. Mm-hmm. Oh, it would be cool for like a Halloween, make it look like blood. Dang, maybe you're gonna have to bust it out again.
Need to buy a new one.
That's interesting. Technically, you can put chamoy on anything, and it would make it even better, no matter what it is. But it's kind of interesting what people will actually put it in. What their favorite thing to do with it is. Maybe I shouldn't phrase it that way because there's a lot of things that people can do with it that would be their favorite thing to do with it, and it's probably not appropriate.
I mean, years ago, I think we did a social post about that. Like it was like, what things you can put chamoy? And we were just putting chamoy in a bunch of stuff, and we were asking people like, tell us what else. And I mean, it's like one of those that you can put in a bunch of stuff, and it actually will taste good.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll make a little video out of it and see what people actually come up with, because I'm sure there's some good stuff that I haven't tried with chamoy.
Popcorn and chamoy.
Have you ever done that?
I don't know.
It would definitely be messy.
It's gonna, yes.
But you know what people do? They put limon and popcorn, so the consistency will be very similar.
I know people who throw M&Ms in the popcorns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's at this point it's kind of like normal.
Or is chamoy the enemy of tajin?
Actually, they work good together. Because I mean, you can have chamoy with a ring of tajin and stuff like that. It's amazing. Yeah. So they're like best friends.
True.
I mean, I don't see they're different. So those are ones that's kind of like fellows on the journey. You know, like they're like, hey, we meet on the party, we party together, but then they take their separate ways.
I guess that's a good one. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I bet there's a video there. You know, I always call tajin Lucas, though. I said it correctly just for the podcast, but if we weren't recording, I would have just said Lucas, and I don't know if you know what that is.
Lucas, yeah, but that's like very Mexico.
Yes, I don't know if a lot of people know what that is. Everybody just calls it now, like.
I mean, like in San Antonio, some people know, but it's not like it's. I mean, that's a very insightful thing from Mexico.
And
like
it's just
Lucas.
a brand too. Yeah. It's probably the same thing, but Lucas is the brand.
It's like Gancitos.
Yes,
Gancitos, the candy thing. I mean, that's a Mexico thing.
Oh, really?
I mean, in Venezuela there was something similar, but it was not called Gancito.
No.
So that's always like.
It would be like that. What is here? What is the gold one here? Twinkies. Is that what it is?
Oh, yes.
Yes, but Gancitos are covered in chocolate.
Correct. So it's like the Twinkie of Mexico.
Yes. And it was good too. It was one of my favorite things as a kid. Okay, going back to Chamoy Creative. The other concept that came up a lot was bicultural. And you kind of mentioned that earlier. Well, obviously that means two cultures. But I can see Chamoy having a variety of cultures because, you know, even though San Antonio is known for being very Tex-Mex, there's a bunch of cultures here that are mixed together, working well together, building different things together. So it's not just a Tex-Mex anymore, I feel. It has the vibe because I think the architecture, I think I said that wrong, kind of, the buildings look very Tex-Mex.
Correct.
But working-wise, living-wise, it's very mixed now. What does that mean to you guys as the creatives?
I mean, diversity is key in everything. We live in very diverse communities. We are like San Antonio is very diverse in all the different areas here, and the Chamoy team is very diverse as a team as we are. Same with the brands that we work with. Or the brands that we work with, they're very diverse on the targets that we're working with. So we work with brands here in San Antonio, in Houston, in Austin, in China, Germany, and stuff. So it's like everybody's different. So that's the main part of like understanding the diversity, but also embracing the diversity. Meaning it's like we're all different. We're all like, and that's the part of like what makes us unique and different. That's something that I feel it should be something that as value of a company we should always maintain.
Yeah. How do you make sure? Well, I guess having the ideas from a multitude of cultures, it helps with making sure that you're not, crossing or maybe offending a culture, especially when you're working in a country or for a country that is outside. Well, I mean, obviously outside the U.S. Duh. but because you may not be in the practices of those cultures, but how besides having that, how do you guys try to verse yourselves for the culture? So you can, especially because kind of like the hot Cheeto thing, or the movie, which it could be fake, it could be not. Well, probably it's mostly correct, but and I say it could be correct because I really don't care for other chips other than hot Cheetos, and I shouldn't eat them. But how there wasn't tapping into the Latino or Hispanic community, the chips that were on the market until somebody's finally brought it up. So anyways, what I'm getting at to that is that how do you verse yourself so you know that the market that you're trying to reach is being reached by the correct means? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. So it all goes to the insights. What is the insights of the community? How the message that you're building connects with those insights. So that's the part that's when brands look for us to be able to like help us find or identify those insights to be able to bring that product into the lifestyles, into the like this is this something that will relate to them or to any community we're talking to. So I think the insights are going to be key elements to be able to create those connections and be able to maintain any brand with that part of being able to be diverse, but also diverse with their community.
What is a highlight either in your past career or here with Chamoy, a project that you worked on that you would, if you could build a short highlight reel for yourself, what would be the main highlight for you?
Oh man. So let me rephrase this. So you're asking for a project or a highlight. If I need to do a little quick summary,
yeah,
what would be those projects or those elements?
Yeah, maybe like two. Maybe I was thinking like the top one that like something that's pride and close to you that you got to work on. But even then, I'm thinking right now, you may not even be able to talk about every project that you've worked on. I don't know.
I mean, we have worked in many. There's one specifically that, as an advertiser, it means a lot to me. Why? Because it's doing something for the community. So we work with a brand, a local health plan here in San Antonio, that we work with them and generated the food pantries. So we work closely with Community First Health Plans, which is a local nonprofit health plan provider, and they wanted to do something for the community. They wanted to be closer to the community and do stuff, but not being like, I mean, they do props or they do whatever, they do food giveaways and stuff. Together we come up with the idea of the food pantry. What about we develop this beautiful standalone pantry? They can be water resistant and everything, and it's something that we can place food inside. They look very similar to those little libraries things that you can put a book or leave a book stuff, but this is for food or anything for those who need it the most. Those pantry had started evolving. At the beginning, it was hard to get them activated. I mean, we did them and stuff, and we didn't get partners. But now, today, there's a waiting list. Right now, there are over 60 pantries around Bexar County and surrounding areas, in areas that supporting the community, meaning that areas like there's churches, there's nonprofits, there's different organizations, even neighborhoods that are hosting these pantries, and the brand, it's able to have a team to go and refill them, meaning to ensure that let's put can of foods and stuff like that. And then also we do as donations. They have done partnerships with the food bank. But the part that fills more my heart is when we start working on this. I used to go a lot to when they were place them in each location and just meet people and stuff. When you see the people around, just curious, walking in and being like, "What is this?" Like you explain what it is. They're like, "Can we bring stuff and help?" And you're like, "Yeah." They're like, "We'll be back." And you will see people coming with bags of cans and just fill them up. And they were like, "Thank you for doing this," because it's a very good way to help people, and not being like, "Oh, let's put a shelter here." No, it's like open it to just make sure that grab whatever you need.
Yeah.
And right now the brand is about to activate 100 of them to be all around surrounding areas of Bexar County, because they're helping a lot. That is one of the projects that I am very proud, because in advertisement we're always in the industry of like promote, sell. This is one that's it's helping.
Yeah.
This is one that's actually helping those who couldn't afford it or couldn't done it or couldn't, and that's the part that it fills my heart. And when you meet people, like we met some people like the other way in a mixer, and we were talking, they were like, "You guys are the ones who," like, they were like, "You don't understand the impact that you guys are doing." That's fills my heart, because we didn't, when we started, it was kind of like, we want to help.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, we're helping.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's super cool too, because I remember my wife, she found out about these pantries, and I don't know if it was very, very early on or not, but it sounded very early on to me. And I'm very skeptical of things in general. But when something's good, I guess, I don't know why, maybe it's just like in me that I'm even more skeptical of things. So one, I was thinking, I don't know how that works. Our people are just gonna come in and just like steal, stuff. How is the food being managed? Just different questions. So I was kind of skeptical about it. I was like, well, that sounds weird. And then she goes, well, I'm gonna take some food. I was like, yeah, I mean, it sounds like an awesome thing. Go ahead. Which usually, like, most of them are like, whoa, we need food, but no, but it's just me kidding around with her. But I honestly thought the concept was real cool. Now, did I come immediately let her know that I thought it was cool? No, I made jokes. But out of all the things that kind of like, it's weird. In that time, I felt like she found out of different things that were happening either around San Antonio or just in Texas or around the next, just like little things. But the thing that has kept or stayed long or reoccurring or a topic of conversation is the food pantries. And every now and then, hey, we have this extra, we have this, or I bought this extra, I'm gonna take it to the food pantry. So it is very cool, and it's so cool to see that. My wife has a big heart, so obviously she's part of it, and I just go along with it because she's doing it. Not because I'm that sounds weird. I'm more giving her a compliment, like that she brought this to our attention, to our life, and she still keeps doing it. And then I'm talking to you, somebody that was part of the conception, I guess. That's so cool.
I mean, and I'm happy to hear that like your wife is somebody who's out there like
Me too.
supporting.
No. No,
Keep doing it.
Definitely my wife.
But I mean, it's the part of like it's supporting the community. I mean, when we started these pantries, it was pandemic, and it was a time where we needed to help. We needed to help people, and again, the first months, it was hard to get them out there because people were skeptical. People was like, and like I don't want a bunch of weird people coming to grab stuff. But once people start seeing the success of it, it was like, okay, this is actually helping. Now the pantries work as not only food, but you can also put school supplies, women's health, bunch of different stuff that people might need, even diapers and stuff like that. Like you can put stuff there to support and help those that, I mean, they might need help.
Yeah. Even like there's a new, and it may not be through them, but it's I think it's an awesome thing that I never thought. It's a woman's. You mentioned women's health, like things that they need for different womanly things. And not being a woman, I had probably never thought of that need as a need. And so it's going on like different locations where you can just drop out those supplies. And it was just a cool concept too. Like I was like, I never would have thought that was an actual need. But of course it is. And it's cool that somebody's doing it.
I mean, and there were so many concerns at the beginning. How are we going to maintain them? How are we going to stuff? How much it's going to cost and stuff? And there was a lot of concerns, but an idea took this to a different level to be able to say, let's help. I mean, there's ways to do it. And yes, everything's going to take time to take off.
Yeah.
But then after that, now we have a maintenance crew. They go and give maintenance. Like something happens, we'll go fix them, make sure everything's good, because we want the integrity of these pantries to be good, because to keep helping.
Yeah.
We don't want them to just be all broken, then like sad, abandoned, because then that's not the value of the brand. The brand is not going to start something to just leave it there. They're going to stick to it and continue helping this stuff. So that's a representation of their value, but also the commitment of our community, the commitment of supporting those that needs an extra hand.
Yeah. And that's one of the many good things in San Antonio is when there is good, people band together.
Yeah.
I know that's everywhere, but I'm just glad that it's true here in San Antonio. Going back to your career before we get to the end of it, obviously I'm going to ask you for your Too Hard, Too Fast story, but any advice for people that are trying to get into either a creative agency, a creative field? What would be a good advice to get them on the right path?
For those who wants to get on the creative industry and stuff, like, I mean, depending on what the expertise that you have, is either copywriting, graphic design, animation, strategy, stuff like that. It's create either a portfolio or create some type of document that you can showcase those talents, where you can showcase like the way how you think or the way how you solve a problem, how you find a creative solution for a problem, and be able to talk about it and give that rationale, like why you justify this. I let somebody tell a lot to students when I review the portfolios. It's kind of like, I love the what you did, but put some type of explanation of what you did. What was your role here? Like you did the photo. This is like, so explain that in a way that it's easy in words or anybody can digest it, in case that you're not there to present your own work. But if you are there, like you're starting, like one, don't be afraid of knocking on doors. No door is gonna bite you, and knocking a door is not gonna hurt you. So knock on all the doors. Knock on doors and just ask questions. I think that's something that's like pushed to that part of like being there and just. I know it can be intimidating sometimes or stuff like that, but it's the part of like, this is your shot. I mean, take the moment of saying like, let me ask this question. There's no dumb questions. Or, you know what, go and knock on the door, somebody tells you like, oh, this is a company that they're looking to hire somebody. Don't be afraid. I mean, we are our worst enemy. And that's the part I feel that we are the first ones that says no to ourselves. So if we are able to work on that part, saying like, okay, I'm not going to say no to myself for this period of time to give it a test and just push myself, that's going to be a great exercise in a way that's like, push your limits. Don't stay inside your boundaries or your safe zone, because I mean, safe zones are good for a time limit, but then push that safe zone to be bigger.
Yeah.
Make the safe zone the world, and that way you have a big canvas to play around. But going back to your question, it's like, knock on doors. Don't be shy about knocking doors or explaining what you do or what you're looking forward to do. Because some people are like, well, I don't know, I just want a job. No. Do you want to create something? Do you want to make this? Like, what's you want to do? Like we were saying at the beginning, I knew I was like, I want to stay doing what I do, and I didn't want to derail myself from doing something else, and then I was going to get comfortable. So I think those are the first challenges, because it's intimidating. I've been in agencies that you walked in and you're like, oh man, I thought I was a badass until I walk into that agency, and then I'm surrounded by people who's double the hard and fast than me. It's kind of like, okay, now I have to push my challenges. Now I have to push up my boundaries, which it's a great place to be, because that's when you realize I can do better.
Yeah. And I think the fear that comes with the ad agency is like the Mad Men thing, or actually, I don't know why I brought that up. I've never watched the show. I watch previews and stuff, but I have a conceptual that it's not even, I built this thought in my head of people, me included, thinking an ad agency is, I'll say this one because I have watched this movie, The Devil's Prada, or The Devil Wears Prada, where it's like, give me this or you're out, kind of thing. Or if you can't hack it, out, kind of idea. I don't think this is the case here. I don't have that vibe. Did not have that vibe with the people that I met. You have not given that vibe. The vibe here at Chamoy does feel very open concept, very much, no idea is dumb unless it's Jorge's. I hope you don't have anybody named Jorge in your team.
That would be hilarious.
That would suck. He's like, why are they picking on me?
He's like, why me, man? What I did? It's like, Jorge.
But no, that's a concept I have felt, the vibe at least.
Thank you. I mean, culture is something. I believe the culture is what makes the success of any company. It's the people. It's the people. Like, it's the open space. It's everybody who's there interacting, working, it's like thinking ahead of any problems or working with clients to solve any solutions. I mean, that's the part. It's amazing. They're just conquering, and you're like, awesome. Let's keep pushing, because my goal is our goal for me and the business partners is to ensure that we're a stable business, that we continue growing and ensuring that everybody has the security and safety here. Because I've been in those environments that you're afraid that you're going to get let go, or that agency you walk in and everybody's like, we're better than you. Because, I mean, there's a lot of ego in this industry.
Oh,
it's part of it.
Right.
But that's the part. Like, how we are able to focus more on, like, let's create good work instead of growing the ego.
Yeah.
I mean, we work very hard, and we hand select everybody that we hire, because we don't want people their ego is bigger than the talent. I prefer to work with people that's down to earth, that they prefer to say, like, let's find solutions on this and stuff like that, instead of fighting like, my idea is better than yours and stuff like that. And whatever, I'm like, I mean, cool, yeah, your idea might be better than mine, but justify it then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the part of, like, keep pushing and pushing.
Yeah.
But Yeah, we're not the type of agency.
Yeah.
We're actually we work hard to keep a good life balance and work balance. We don't ask people to work late. We don't ask people to work weekends unless there's an emergency or a special occasion, because we're in that crazy deadline and stuff like that. But no, I'm the one that's like, no, go have a beautiful dinner with your loved one, go to the movies, enjoy life, because that enjoyment, it's going to expand your brain to just see the world in a different way, in a better way, but also to find a different solution for the whatever problem you have.
Yes. Experiences and perspectives
Yes.
are a big thing, for sure. And I do want to say I love the way you say finding a solution to the problem. Mostly, when you're talking creative, everybody always brings up building the story, having the climax. And obviously that's part of it, a huge part of it. But I just like that you have not pushed that. You have pushed the finding a solution to the problem. It's a different perspective to the concept of it.
Yeah.
All right. So for your too hard, too fast story, right before I asked for your too hard, too fast story, which is either a cautionary tale, words of wisdom, or a funny story, I do want to ask, where can people follow you and then follow Chamoy?
Yeah. So Chamoy, you can follow them. You can follow them on Instagram or Facebook, LinkedIn, and yeah, I don't think we have an OnlyFans for Chamoy.
Not yet.
Not yet. But our handle is chamoycreative.com. No, Chamoy Creative. Yes, and chamoycreative.com is our website. You can also find us there. And my personal handle is _PS. Thank you. You got my back.
It's because when I was looking, I was like, dude, this is so perfect. It's so simple and so perfect.
Sometimes I'm like, wait, where's the underscore? Is it before the P or after the P? I always get confused with those. But funny. Yeah, that's my personal handle, and like
it's easy to remember.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And I'm always sharing stuff in Instagram. I love sharing stuff.
Because I thought of changing my Instagram handle to just 2H2F, but I don't want to, because I need obviously the name to be remembered first.
Yeah, but people looking for you and stuff like that. That's what's going to stand. It's like they see the name, because if they see the initials, they're going to be like, hold on.
Yeah, what is this?
Yeah, that's why I hide.
Perfect. And again, the website is really cool, because even before you get into the meat of things, there's that little cool Chamoy little section that you can play with. I spent too much time doing that.
I mean, we're saying like you need to be fun, and like why not? We have a name. We're Chamoy Creative. Like let's make it fun and different.
Yeah.
So that's where we love that web.
No, that was cool. I literally spent too much time doing that until I realized I'm doing research. I'm not. Why am I playing?
It's gonna
too hard, too fast story.
Oh man, I'm still thinking on that one, but there's too many things I'm trying to think, and like there's some crazy stories but then wisdom is always the one I like to give wisdom, but I think
No, do it again. There's plenty of room for wisdom.
But what can I say? I don't know. I mean, I think I can tell you about a too hard, too fast story that we had with a brand that we work with. So we work with the International Tijuana Airport doing a video. They have the Gap Bridge. The Gap Bridge is basically a bridge that you are able to land. You're able to land in Tijuana and cross customs, walk this bridge inside the airport to a terminal in San Diego, and then you're in the U.S. So it's unique in the world because there's nothing like that. They will connect two countries with one bridge, and like especially inside a terminal like that. So we went. They hired us to do a video about all this and everything. And man, we're super like excited. It's like, yeah, this is gonna be amazing, and it's challenging because they're like, we want drones, we want everything, but we are an airport that's in the border. So we need to work with Mexico government, we need to work with the U.S. government, and we need to work with border patrols. And they don't talk to each other.
Right, obviously.
So it's one that's like, we create a plan, we have everything amazing, we're like, perfect, this is our goal. we travel to San Diego to start prepping everything, and basically the day before of the shot or the shoot, because it's a 2-day, 3-day shoot, we're talking to the Mexico government, and they tell us that we need to change all our itinerary because our goal was to utilize the bridge to go back and forward to capture stuff, and they tell us Border Patrol will not let you do that. I mean, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, so we need to change plans. Like, then they're like, you need to start in Mexico. So basically, everything changed, and now we need to drive to Tijuana and capture everything. Then after that, so we drive there, start capturing. The drone doesn't take off because you're inside the airport, and we were checking everything. So Kasim, who is one of our associate creative director, have to get up with the drone pilot in a car for the airport to go to a barrio near the area to take off to then be able to get on inside the airport. So it was crazy. While I'm with the other team on ground, working with the team, with the client and everything. We finish everything in Mexico. Then we need to get on the cars to start driving back across the border. And I mean, if you cross a border before, you know that there's a lot of traffic and it's not the most organized thing. I mean, you have a bunch of stuff, but there's no signage. And you're like, in which lane I should be? I don't know. Just be on this lane and then we'll figure it out. We lost 2 hours throughout that process, everything. Then we get to US, to San Diego, start capturing the US part, and then Border Patrol gets involved because that's when it's like, hey, security, we need to ensure that everything's good, and they start checking all the footage, everything to ensure that we're not capturing any private information stuff. And you're like, okay. And all this, I'm just looking at the time because I'm like, we're in a clock here, and like we're just losing time through all this stuff, and I'm just stressing and like sweating everything. Drone pilot is doing their stuff, which best part. I mean, I'm so proud that we got to fly drones on the border. It was gorgeous. I think going to all this is one of my favorite experience in this project is we're in the tarmac because I'm working with the staff, and then the airport director, he's like, we got a plane landing in 5 minutes. And I'm like, can we capture it? And he's like, we can grab that bus and take you right there. I'm like, let's do it. We do all the stuff, whatever. We get the perfect angle where you read everything, but the plane is coming and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, stop the plane. And he's like, stop the plane. And they stop the plane. And I'm like, I mean, at that point, I feel like a superhero. I'm like, ha, I got the superpower. And then he's like, okay, coordinate all this. Make sure everything. Okay, we got the shot. Everything's beautiful. Okay, action. Plane move. Move the plane. And they start moving the plane. And you just see the people like on the windows, like, what is going on?
They're just trying to get out.
I mean, they just want to land.
But
they're seeing all the cameras, they're seeing all the stuff, and just people with the cameras and stuff like that. And I'm like, I bet more than one person is hating me right now there. But hey, it's a beautiful shot. All that to have great days, to go crazy, to do that. I was like a 3 minutes video.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was a true experience, and that's been one of the most stressful projects I ever worked in my life.
I bet. And it's crazy that you didn't lose sunlight, because being stuck for 2 hours, trying to cross back into the U.S. Yeah, it sounds stressful.
I mean, it's because we have a crew security waiting for us at 1 p.m. on San Diego Airport, and it's 12:30, and you're still stuck in the line of the border, and you're like, and then like the security part. I mean, you know that, oh wait, if you're in the wrong lane, you can get a ticket because you don't have the sentry or stuff like that, and that's when you're like, I mean, we'll deal with this and stuff like that. Oh yeah. So we passed. The drone pilot was in a different car. The drone pilot gets pulled over, and they ask him, what were you doing? And he's like, oh, man, I was flying drones over the border and doing stuff. They're like, pull over.
Oh, man.
It's kind of like,
that's what you say. I was doing nothing.
So, yeah, I think that was one of my two too hard to stores, too hard to fast stories, because it was like, yeah, it's like just go.
Yeah, no, man. I can't imagine the stress just sitting is the worst part.
Sitting and
waiting.
not moving, and you know that time is moving, and you're just like, we only have so many hours of light. We only have so much time. We have people waiting. I mean, and it's not just one client. We have government waiting. We have border patrol waiting. It's like, and they don't want to talk to each other. They're like, no, we don't talk to them and stuff like that. And like, but we can just use this and be more faster.
Yes, exactly. Too hard, too fast story, ladies and gentlemen. We've just gone too hard, too fast with Alejandro Perez-Signini. I said it right.
You said it right.
Here at Chamoy Creative headquarters here in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it. Or you know what? Yeah.
So it's like, what do we do?
Yeah, I don't know why you know what it was. I've done this the last few times I've recorded. I was like, in the moment as I was doing this, I said, I'm gonna change it up.
Kind of like, and then turkey.
And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, remember, dare to be you, dare to be weird. Bye.
Bye.
Está loco.